Hi everyone, this is audapostrophe. Let's continue our game of anonymous code running on Nintendo Switch. The Sun Mall shopping district was AR decorated in red, white, green, and gold, all the colors of Christmas. Every shop, stall, and cafe was open for business. The workers were wearing AR Santa hats and shouting to customers as they sold Christmas chickens, cakes, and presents. Every store was overflowing with customers. I feel like I was at a theme park or something. But everyone seemed more interested in having fun than desperately trying to get their shopping done.
So this is a Japanese Christmas. They don't know the true meaning of the holiday, but they all seem so happy. It's a little strange.
Well, we got some unique customs here. Corporate marketing makes this stuff popular, but you only give presents to people you're close to or appreciate. Japanese people don't give gifts unless there's an occasion, so I think the Christmas spirit is alive in its own way here.
Yes, this isn't so bad.
Momo and I walked down the crowded street. The new AR decorations kept appearing every few steps, and Momo looked at every one of them.
I kinda miss the Christmas I knew. There were a lot of dishes we only made for Christmas, and one of my favorites was this thing called bolore.
Bolo hore? I've never heard of it.
It means king cake, and it resembles a crown. It's covered in crystallized fruit that looks like the crown's jewels. I rarely got to eat sweet things back then, so I always looked forward to it. I remember when I ate all the fruits myself. My parents weren't impressed.
Momo sounded kind of bashful, but she looked happy too. I bet she had lots of good memories of Christmas.
Do you have any memories like that?
I only spent Christmas with my family until I was 5. That's when my mom divorced my dad and left. I've spent Christmas by myself since then, so I don't really have many memories of it.
Pollon.
But just walking around and talking to you is really fun. I feel this is the first time in ages that I'm enjoying Christmas.
I have fun when I'm with you too. Maybe that's why I'm talking more than usual.
Glad to hear it.
She did seem more relaxed than she normally was.
Oh yeah, let me know if there's somewhere you want to check out. We can go wherever you want.
Wherever I want?
She looked around, but then a crowd came between us. I heard an employee in one of the stores up ahead announcing a Christmas sale. The masses went wild. Momo and I were like ships caught in a storm as the surging crowds kept changing speed and direction.
Hey, stop pushing!
Pollon!
People came between us, and we were separated even further. I tried getting back to her, but the crowds were too crazy. Momo weaved through the gaps and reached out to me. I managed to grab her hand. I pulled and brought her close to me.
You okay?
I think so.
Let's get out of here.
Okay.
Still holding onto her, we fought through the flood of people. Damn, her hand was so small and soft. It was so dainty, I felt like I was going to lose grip on it at any moment. It was almost like she could tell, because she was holding my hand really tight. I squeezed it back to make sure we didn't get separated.
We finally made it out.
The crowds were so wild that we'd struggled to get out.
Oh, Polly and Momo!
Whoa, no. And Oz too.
Nice work on the concert. Kaoru and I watched from a distance, and it looked pretty good.
Hey, if you were there, you could have said hi.
Polly! You liar, pants on Hellfire! You said you weren't dating Momo!
Huh? What's this about?
Only lovers hold hands like that, right?
Oh.
Momo and I suddenly let go of each other's hands.
Sorry.
You're mistaken. I'm the one who took his hand. We almost got lost in a crowd, so... So you're not lovers? No. Then when are you confessing to me?
Confessing? Confessing what?
You're as dense as ever, aren't you? There's only one thing you can confess, and that's...
Come on. Let's head back before the food gets cold.
What are you doing? Let go of my hand! I have something important to tell him! Let me go! Let me go, Oz! Oz! There they go.
We should head off too.
Yeah. Let's go somewhere without many people.
Well, we're getting to know her really well. Does that mean that she's going to die soon? We made our way through Nakano, avoiding the crowds on our way to the Nakano Sun Plaza viewing platform. There were lots of AR decorations here, too. There were a few couples and families, but it wasn't as crowded as the other places.
Let's go to the edge. The view should be nice.
Passing through the AR snow, we moved to a quiet corner. The scenery, the other side of the handrails, wasn't too bright, but there was a certain charm to the subtle lighting we could make out.
Wow, it's so pretty. I can see lights so far away. Are they all from buildings?
Yeah, this view isn't too special compared to some other places, though.
Really? But there are so many lights. Tokyo is a wonderful city, isn't it? It's brighter than the stars in the sky. Speaking of stars, I remember when my family went stargazing at Christmas, and...
Momo fell silent. She looked kind of sad.
What's wrong?
I just thought of Lucia.
You mean the original?
Yes. She died in 2005, at the age of 97. But now I'm here, her copy, living as a teenage girl 30 years after her death. I always knew it was abnormal, but I tried not to think about it. I had a mission to focus on. But now that I've had some time to relax, the ideas caught up with me.
Momo's origins were complicated. I couldn't blame her for dwelling on them.
Who am I?
Momo looked down and fell silent again. I didn't know how to cheer up a girl when she was sad, but Momo was different. She wouldn't want half-assed platitudes, and that's why I knew what to say to her.
I only know you, Momo. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't tell you the difference between you and Lucia. Nobody else can either. You're the only one that knows both of you, so you're the only one that can decide who you are. You need to decide the answer yourself.
She looked down as she spoke.
Just like Lucia, I want to see the mission through. I want to save the world. That's why I came here.
Yeah, you said that before. But what else?
Well, that's not enough anymore. If I see someone in need, I want to help them. You encouraged me to help people.
She looked up at me.
I guess I'm not Lucia.
Why do you think that?
Because she wouldn't have joined Nakano symphonies. The pain from losing Francisco and Jacinta would not have subsided. But I met you and everyone else. These experiences and the feelings they inspired have changed me. I'm completely different from the original. I couldn't go back now, even if I wanted to.
I could see strength welling up in her eyes again.
Can I take Momo Aizaki as my name? Not as a fake name, but as my real one. To prove that I'm a new person. That I'm no longer Lucia.
Sure, go ahead. If that's what you want, I'm all for it.
Thanks, Pollon.
Momo blushed as she smiled at me. She looked away and down at Nakano. At the world celebrating Christmas. A world of innocent people having fun. All of it to a single moment in their peaceful lives.
One more month, huh?
Not even a month. The end of everything was right around the corner.
This world is in our hands now. We have to save it.
Yeah, no matter what.
We're just about done here. Time for us to...
Chief! The morgue just contacted us and... it... disappeared!
Calm down. What disappeared?
Davide Yesue's body!
What?
So you were successful. Well done. Now, please tell them to bring him to us.
But he's only just woken up.
His next mission awaits. Make the arrangements immediately.
Very well.
The priest walked away, but stopped for a moment. He seemed perplexed by something.
Felino Arcana, may I have your thoughts? We've been faced with a great deal of unexpected events. Is the Lord testing us? Or could it be that he does not desire that the end...
Behold, ye despisers, and wonder and perish. For I work a work in your days. A work which ye shall in no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. Acts 13:41. Do what must be done, and wait for the time to come.
Thank you for your words.
The priest expressed his gratitude and excused himself. After seeing him off, Felino took out a tablet and played a video. It displayed something from an age-long past, but the quality was clear, for it was a simulation generated by Necro Pilgrimage. It showed October 13th, 1917, the day of the final miracle of Fatima. An unnerving sound resonated all around. Somebody pointed at the sky, and those nearby looked up at once. Something abnormal was unfolding above. The sun was revolving with great intensity. It was akin to the wheel of a train or a spinning firework. Suddenly, as its rays danced downward, the sun seemed to split apart. Brilliant fragments scattered to the surroundings, like the juice of a fruit. Each was an arrow of light. Over and over they fell to the distant horizon. Rather than cowering, the people cheered at the miracle taking place before their eyes. Their voices grew louder until the cacophony overwhelmed the unsettling sound of the darting fragments.
No mere mortal can understand the true meaning of the acts of God. They could not have known that this sound was binary, static noise, nor that it was counting down to the end. Lord, I express my deepest gratitude for this sign.
Cuckoo! After Pollon and I had dinner, he walked me to the hotel I was staying at. We were staying at hotels in and around Nakano, and this was tonight's accommodation. Rosario was already in the room.
I just called Rosario. I'll stay with you until she comes down.
I'm sorry for the hassle.
No worries. We can't take our chances with the Holy Office.
Security had been tightened, but that didn't mean we could relax. We were still being as cautious as possible.
Pollon? Thanks for everything today. I had a very nice time.
Glad to hear that. I had fun hanging out with you too.
The automatic door behind me opened up. I turned around.
Rosario, think...
Intense pain seized my back. The next thing I knew, I was being forced against the wall, nowhere near the front of the hotel. I had no idea why this was happening, but I could smell perfume. Following the scent, I looked ahead.
Who?
I saw her.
Tell me, how did you learn about Kent Korihisa? I know you've been snooping around, looking for him. Just what are you to Kent? I said tell me! Answer me!
Her eyes were full of vitriol.
What will you do with that knowledge? And what about you? How do you know his name?
Pretty much only those associated with the Holy Office 513 knew about Kent Korihisa. Was she an agent too? I had a bad feeling about this. Oh yeah, I could call Pollon using my BMI. But before I had the chance...
Of course I know his name. I'm his little sister.
Huh?
The sturdy gate opened and a luxurious black car passed through on its way out of the residence grounds. A moment later, a hooded man stepped in front of the vehicle. Two members of the hired security police jumped out to confront him.
Out of the way!
Having identified him as a threat, the officers raised their handguns.
Don't move! Put your hands up or we'll shoot!
You won't.
The hooded man maintained a calm expression. Next thing they knew, he had passed by the officers and knocked on the window at the back of the car.
What?
The window opened up. Inside sat Secretary General Shujin Nimura, advisor for the ruling party's leader. Nimura commanded immense political authority.
Are you with the Holy Office 513?
I am.
This man's a guest of mine.
The officers relaxed their guard.
State your business.
I have a message from Felino Arcana. It is now your turn to lend us a hand.
Da-da-da.
The coordinates lead here.
I'll look around.
Momo got out of Rosario's car and went into the alley. I parked my graper and followed her with Rosario. It was December 31st, and Tokyo was in an end-of-year mood. Its residents were either deep cleaning or heading home with bags of shopping. In another 3 hours, 2037 would be over. Through the bustle, we made our way to Shibuya to do some cryptanalysis. We weren't analyzing a code from Cicada through 301, though it was a challenge set up by Juno.
There you are!
Momo had vanished while we were waiting in front of the hotel, and I found her in a nearby back alley. Momo was standing with her back to the wall, with Juno right in front of her.
Of course I know his name. I'm his little sister.
Let her go!
I shouted as I sprinted towards her, and Juno readily released her.
You okay, Momo?
Yes.
Juno, are you really Cicada's sister?
That has nothing to do with you.
We're investigating the guy. Come on, tell me.
Tell you? The one who took the quests from me? The one who wrecked my plans? Why? 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 Ugh, if only you didn't exist. You ruined everything. Unforgivable. I can't stomach the sight of you.
Everyone's free to join the quests. That's what Kent Korihisa wants.
Don't you dare speak his name, you psychotic stalker! Kent's mine. Stay away from him.
I'm going to meet him no matter what. I want to save the world with him.
And you think you're qualified to do that?
Of course.
All right then. Prove it.
Prove it. This is...
Momo shared an image of a painting with me.
Solve this. If you make it to the final place, you'll have my approval. I might even tell you Kent's secret.
Secret? What do you...
Juno was gone before Momo could finish. Since that day, Momo had been leading us around as we solved the codes Juno had left. Solving codes yielded coordinates that led to more codes leading to more coordinates. The cycle was still going, and this time it had brought us here.
Oh, the sign!
Momo pointed at a flower crest. This was the AR sign we found at all the coordinates. When Momo touched the crest, the speech bubble appeared. Text floated inside it.
It says, "This is where, on July 2nd, 1999, Kent treated the wound I got when I tripped over."
She sure loves hyping up her bro, huh?
All the other coords led us to text saying similar stuff. We came to realize that Juno actually was Sakata's sister, but honestly I was pretty tired of her going on about him.
The date's gone down again. This might be over soon. Now, for the next code...
I found it. It's on that wall.
When Momo turned to look where Rosario was pointing, she froze.
No. That's...
She raised her hands to her temples and as her pupils twitched wildly.
Hey, you okay?
I just saw a vision. So many people died.
Do we have another quest?
Wynn shared a 4chan post with me. It had been posted by...
Cicada posted a new quest.
Right on cue.
I didn't think he'd post any more quests this year, but he found the time to squeeze in one more.
Juno showed up too.
Still, I was obviously going to be the one who'd end up
Whoa!
4chan's hackboard was suddenly being spammed by Juno's words.
Fuck! She's being a pain in the ass. I can't see any other posters.
Juno showed no signs of stopping, though.
What? 4chan went down? That cheat!
Did Juno do that?
Yeah, she overloaded the server with all her posts. It's sabotage. That woman.
Hey, you checked 4chan?
I was there when it went offline. Let's use some other site.
We can't. All the hacker hangouts are down.
What?
Does this mean we gotta solve it by ourselves?
In the worst case scenario, yeah. I'll look for a way to get in touch with other hackers.
Can I leave Juno's code to you? We're gonna try to solve cicadas.
The quest is the highest priority, isn't it? We should work on it together.
But we can't ignore Juno's code either. It could lead us to Kent Korihisa. We should work on this too.
But
Please help me, Rosario. They can handle the quest without us.
very well. I'll help you as best as I can.
You got the gadget, Momo?
Yes, right here.
Momo took out a cylindrical device about the size of her palm. It was like a hockey puck. This was what Nono had made for us to use against sacraments, her berry blocky. It created electromagnetic interference across an area 4 meters in diameter, and could nullify electromagnetic waves of any intensity. Momo and I both had one. If the agents attacked us, we could at least use them to buy ourselves time to escape. Maybe they could even neutralize agents' powers, too.
Good luck, Pollon.
You too, Momo.
They're all down. Even the social media sites that aren't for hackers are gone.
The info exchanges on the dark web are offline, too.
She's so annoying.
2 hours had passed since Cicada 3301 posted his new quest. Juno used DDoS attacks to bring down all the social media servers, including ones unrelated to hacker-centric sites.
Holy look! The comments on this video! Hackers are talking!
Whoa, nice. Wait, it's down already?
And I just found it! Juno is a meanie!
I took a sip of seven cup to cool my head. Despite what was happening, hackers were putting their heads together and actually making progress on the quest. The hint from the first image was a number, and searching that number led to a different image. On top of that, Juno's DDoS attacks weren't letting up, and Nakano Symphonies had only found 2 of the 3 prime numbers. The 3301 and Cicada 3301 was a prime number, but it wasn't the right one. Knowing what other hackers were thinking would have helped, but that was out of the question.
Look at this.
The source code?
Yeah, they're leaving comments in the source code of a news site. Someone here found all 3 prime numbers.
I'll try him out.
We noticed that the image dimensions were prime numbers, but we'd overlook its file size. Multiplying them together, it got us 376,17091. So we switched that figure in for the blank and http www.blank.cicada3301.com.
A 404 error. What does that error mean again?
It means that a page with that address doesn't exist.
We tried redoing the calculation and accessing the site again, but the result was the same.
I guess we were wrong?
Yeah, the other hackers are already looking for more prime numbers.
The hackers exchanging info through the source code had already given up on the 404 page. In that case,
I'm gonna investigate the page a little more.
Huh? But it's the wrong place.
I feel like there's more to it than we can see.
honestly though, I wanted to check it out because I knew there was no point in just doing the same thing all of the other hackers were.
So...
I looked at the page again. It didn't seem different from any other 404 error. The spelling was the same, the text was displayed normally, and there were no hidden images. Nothing about it was special. Maybe there was something in the source code.
Pollon, you might be onto something. This page was made a year ago.
Huh?
There were 2 types of 404 error pages. One type was automatically produced by the browser, and the other was prepared by the home page's creator. Since this error page was made a year ago, it had to be the latter, considering that Cicada himself might have made it.
Wait, what? Bad news! You should close that page right now!
Huh? Why?
A bunch of people are saying that the page made them feel nauseous and made their children collapse.
Wait, what? Something's making the hackers queasy?
Huh? No, it's just happening to kids.
A phenomenon that only affected kids and did nothing to adults?
Cross, does the page have any sound?
Sound? Let me check.
He moved his hand over his input device.
Found something. It's an audio file.
Thanks.
I played it and...
What the hell? Nothing? That's some scary shit.
No, it's not nothing. We just can't hear it.
Huh? What do you mean?
You remember those toys from a while back? The ones with audio comms? The little remote-controlled cars. I got someone to buy one for me when I was a kid, but I started feeling like crap as soon as I played with it. I puked my guts out. I thought it was just cold, but my friends said the same thing happened to them.
Were the toys cursed?
No, there was a problem with the audiocom frequency. The input data was supposed to be sent using inaudible frequencies, but by some mistake, I used a frequency that kids could hear. So many kids were affected that the toys eventually got recalled. I even returned mine and got a different toy.
How come only kids could hear it?
Kids have a wider audible range than adults. Their ears can pick up more frequencies.
Oh, that makes sense.
I visualized the waveform of the sound file. And yeah, something's definitely there.
Just 2 sounds, huh?
It could be binary.
Can you convert it?
Give me a sec.
Cross used his input device like a DJ.
1000101 Converting it to ASCII code gives you EGG. Egg.
Whoa! That's awesome! We got our next hint! Why egg, though?
No idea.
When's Cicada gonna quit it with his goddamn codes?
Our reward for making sense of these codes was just more stupid codes. These siblings had to chill. I drank some 7-Cup to stop myself getting pissed off.
Hey, you said said this page was made a year ago. Are there any signs it was updated after that? Anything he added later would be pretty sus, right?
It was made a year ago and hasn't been touched since.
Okay...
There was a quest on New Year's Eve last year, too. It's pretty crazy to think he made this page while that was happening, huh?
That was the pool hack, wasn't it?
Yep, the one where some BMI virus took control over people's visions.
The Scenery Intercept quest.
That was the first quest that led to fatalities. The virus was spread throughout Seattle and infected the people's BMIs through Wi-Fi connections. As well as changing what people saw, it hijacked their nervous system and manipulated their emotions, driving them to jump off buildings. 11 people were killed, totally at random. What exactly the victims saw, as well as how they felt, remained unknown. But it was known that the people who committed suicide had cheerful looks on their faces, like they were diving into a swimming pool. That was how it got the name Pool Hack.
That shit left a bad taste in my mouth.
There was even a countdown until the suicides.
It was the second quest Cicada 3301 posted after his reappearance on May 5th, 2036. It was also the first quest Cross and I took part in. I didn't have my saving and loading ability back then, so all we could do was watch as the victims threw themselves to their deaths.
Is this what the egg meant?
What, you found something?
Look.
You are currently watching live footage from our drone. According to witnesses, people suddenly started gathering at the helipad on Shinjuku's Egg Tower about half an hour ago. The tower's integrity was called into question after the sad morning, so it was designated off-limits to the public in case it collapsed. As such, an extremely dangerous situation could be unfolding. More than 50 people have gathered now. Who are they, and what do they want?
There's a countdown on the other building. It's just like the pool hack. It's gotta be the quest.
Did Cicada plan this event a whole year ago?
The people on the helipad were looking up at the sky, all spaced out. They were staggering around like they were hypnotized. If this was Pool Hack 2.0, then once the countdown reached 0, more than 50 people were going to jump to their deaths. We had about 54 minutes left. The countdown was scheduled to end 5 minutes into the new year. If this one had the same setup as the last one, we could prepare a digital vaccine and then remotely...
The hackers are saying that those people's BMI are offline. They're not on the scene, so it's not like they've tried infrared or close-range radio yet. But...
Whoa, hold on. You're saying we have to wire up and install the vaccine into everyone individually?
That depends on what we find out, but it's possible.
Even if we looked into it and found the cause, how much time would we have left? How many seconds would we have to save each one of them? Even if we went to the helipad this second and had to vaccinate each person in under a minute, could we make it?
Damn it! I don't even have the time to think about this. I'm heading to the tower. I'll see what's what when I get there.
Oh, this is very much like Chaos Child. The Akasa crater was a truer example of the sad morning's devastation than the one in Shinjuku. The rubble in the area had shifted slightly during the rescue operations, but the dust had been settled since. Warped steel beams, glass fragments, and the collapsed walls of skyscrapers covered the ground. The bottom of the crater had filled with rainwater, and moonlight glimmered across the surface.
The coordinates are in there?
Uneasy, Rosario looked up at the mountain of rubble. It was hard to tell whether there was enough space for someone to squeeze through, so her doubts were justified.
You should be able to see the path if you use the BMI sensors.
Infrared, thermal, landscape. Pollon had taught me about the many BMI functions.
Let's just keep moving forward. I don't know where we'll end up, but we don't have time to be standing still.
Here it is.
The egg tower hadn't suffered a direct hit, but it was still in the blast zone. As a result, it ended up a hotbed of debris. That's why it had been completely sealed off. It was only a matter of time until it was demolished. A large earthquake would probably be enough to bring it down. And right now, there were more than 50 people standing on its helipad. Cicada must have restored its electricity. I could see some lights shining up there. Police officers surrounded the building. There was no tape to cordon off the area yet, so they couldn't have been here long. Some MSM crews were doing live broadcasts about the situation too. There were some curious onlookers onlookers around as well, but only about 10 so far. I saw the countdown video the hackers had set up. It felt like time was melting away.
I'm checking the foreign news, and it looks like the only pool hack going on is the Egg Tower one.
During the last pool hack, multiple people committed suicide from high-rise buildings, and the face hack blew up into a global crisis. Since this quest was focused in one spot, Cicada couldn't have been targeting me. Even if that worked out for us, I didn't know how to feel about everyone else who'd gotten involved. It was our fault they were in danger. We had to take care of this somehow.
There's gotta be other ways this pool hack's different from the last one. We have to be thorough as we work.
And we should watch out for Juno, too.
There was no way she was going to stop at DDoS attacks. She was probably going to come here and try completing the quest herself. And if Juno was here, she was going to get in our way for sure.
I'll use the neighboring building to try and analyze the situation at the helipad.
I'll help you guys.
All right, then I'll climb the Egg Tower.
If I went straight to the helipad, I'd probably get attacked by Juno. She was a phantom who could disappear and reappear at will. There was no telling what she'd do, so if something happened, I'd just come back here.
Let's see.
The police had the front entrance covered. I had to go in another way. After making my way through the underground, I snuck into the first basement floor of the building. I went up the stairs and saw the entrance from inside. But beside it was Juno. The intense scent of her perfume was filling the air.
What are you doing here? What about my code? Where's the girl? I thought she meant something to you.
Of course she does. But I know I can depend on her, too. That's why I trusted her with getting your code.
You truly are the worst. It's like you enjoy being a thorn in my side.
I don't want to hear that from you. You're the one who keeps getting in our way. You made an enemy of every hacker in the world. But I can't say I expected you to be wasting time here. If you're here to complete the quest, shouldn't you go to the helipad?
You should know by now that quests are never that simple. I will stay here and eliminate my enemies until I'm certain that victory is mine. Why not run back to your girl's side? If you leave now, I won't kill you.
Are you gonna run me over with a train if I stay?
A train?
I'm asking if you're gonna teleport me to some train tracks.
What do you know?
I'm just talking about something from a past that didn't happen.
Juno glared at me, her eyes ablaze with malice. If I wanted to complete the quest, I was going to have to incapacitate her somehow. We wanted different things, so cooperation wasn't an option. I looked around for something I could use. Decorative plants, paintings, statues, lights. Suddenly, Juno disappeared from my peripheral vision. Where'd she go? I spun around, but there was no sign of her.
Lamentabile. Plaintively.
I heard a voice behind me, then felt something touch my shoulder. And the scenery changed. Hazy blue clouded my sight, and a sudden cold pressure enveloped my body. Every breath transformed into bubbles that rose upwards. I was underwater. The moment I realized, I started searching desperately for a way to the surface. Luckily, I couldn't feel a current acting on me like it would be a river or an ocean. But the scenery below looked like a seabed. A shark passed right by me. Shit. I pumped my limbs wildly to try to get myself to the surface. I didn't even have time to check if the shark was after me. Then suddenly, the sudden dangerous situation and lack of oxygen had made my head go blank, and all I could do was just swim to the surface. I burst from the water, then leapt out of the tank as fast as I could. At least my limbs were intact. It looked like I'd made it out in one piece.
Pollon, you good?
Juno got me! She threw me into a shark tank!
What?
The Egg Tower has an aquarium?
No, she sent me somewhere else.
It says you're in Shinagawa.
Wait, really? So she really is a phantom? She actually can disappear and reappear? Please tell me the details.
If I had the details, I wouldn't be soaking wet in Shinagawa.
But without any specifics, we can't analyze Juno's behavior or prepare any countermeasures. You weren't recording your vision?
I didn't think of that.
I've had my eye on Juno for a while, and I have some theories of my own. If I can analyze the exact moments she uses her phantom skills, I should be able to help you.
Gotcha. I'll get you the footage next time. So help.
Yeah, let's load back to the Egg Tower for another showdown with Juno.
Hey, you want to see Juno doing her phantom thing?
Excuse me?
I can send you a clip, so analyze it for a way to stop her.
You're going to expose her secret? That's so cool! I'll gladly help. Heck, I'm so excited my hands are shaking.
I'm counting on you, Miss Lid.
Juno was in the Egg Tower just like before.
Where's the girl? I thought she meant something to you.
Of course she does. But I know I can depend on her too. That's why I trusted her with getting your code.
I said the same stuff as last time and waited for her to do her thing.
I'm asking if you're gonna teleport me to some train tracks.
What do you know?
I'm just talking about something from the past that didn't happen.
I turned on my BMI's recording function. Juno disappeared. I turned around, but she was nowhere in sight.
Lamentabile. Plaintively.
A voice from behind me. I broke into a sprint before she could touch me. Kicking off the ground, I ran as fast as I could.
What?
Her shocked voice trailed off, but I had to focus. I barreled outside through the front entrance. Passing by the officers, I made it onto the main street. After confirming that Juno wasn't chasing after me, I stopped in place. I sent the recording to Miss Lid.
This footage is amazing. The way she disappears is practically teleportation.
If she touches you, she can instantly send you somewhere else.
She can do it to other people too? That makes it even more interesting.
I'll be waiting on your analysis. I need a strategy too.
There was no way I'd get anywhere near the helipad without a way to counter Juno's skills. I could help Cross and Wind until Miss Lid was done with her analysis. I saw a police car come to a stop nearby. Its doors opened and...
Hey, it's the Cyberforce dolls.
Maybe the CCO had some juicy info about the pool hack that we'd missed somehow. I figured it'd be a good idea to talk to them before meeting up with Cross and Wind. We followed the path using BMI sensors and ended up at the entrance to the underground. It was one of the so-called service tunnels spread throughout the city, and it was full of communications cables. The coordinates given by Juno's code led somewhere beyond this tunnel, and we moved forward with flashlights in hand.
Be careful. There's more rubble here.
Many places nearby had collapsed following the sad morning. We had to crawl in places, pass through flooded areas, and even the longer paths were... Even that was impossible.
Momo, look over there.
Rosario used her flashlight to light the path ahead. There, I saw it.
A door.
It was a metallic door, and so pristine that it felt out of place. It had clearly been installed after the sad morning. There was an electronic lock on it and a device for password input.
We're at the coordinates.
So the place is past this door. It looks like we need a password, though.
If I had to guess,
1223.
I used the 4-digit number I'd seen during the process that led to these coordinates.
It worked!
I twisted the knob and pushed the door open. A faint light leaked out from inside. I opened the door further and stepped through. It was a space about 16 square meters in size. It felt like an apartment room without any windows. Unlike its new metallic door, the room was quite dilapidated. Was this part of the surface tunnels? Was it installed later, or was it accidentally buried during the sad morning? A number of candles lit the room, and in the middle was a large, peculiar box. It was made of marbled glass and sat on an elevated platform. It was longer horizontally, but about as big as a fridge on the side. Through the glass I saw that it was filled with flowers.
What is that?
Let's take a look.
I moved closer and looked down at it. I could feel myself turning pale. Nausea washed over me. The sight before me was something like from a nightmare.
Kent Korihisa? How?
Inside the box slept Kent Korihisa. He wasn't breathing. It looked like he'd been preserved with a staggering level of care.
It's obviously a fake. That woman is trying to trick us. I'll prove it.
Rosario reached out for the coffin. At that moment, we felt someone join us.
So, you made it all the way here.
Juno! What is going on here?
Why is Kent Korihisa?
As you can see, he's dead. Congratulations! Now you know his secret!
That can't be true. If he's dead, why are the quests still happening? Who is Sakita?
Did you kill him?
How dare you suggest such a thing! As if I'd kill my beloved!
How did he die then? Can you prove that this corpse is really him?
There was an accident. He was in a cold sleep machine for a long time, resting. He said, in order to circumvent the end, he needed his brain to stay young. He was so beautiful that I made a habit of simply watching him sleep. If those days were waking dreams, then February 6, 2036 was the day I woke up.
On the sad morning?
He came out of cold sleep shortly before that, and then he was reduced to splattered bits of flesh. He was caught in the SA-4D attack. By the time I found him, he was already dead.
No!
I moved the rubble off of my brother and gathered him as thoroughly as I could. His hair, his teeth, his nails and flesh and blood. Oh, that's right. I used a sponge to soak up the fluid and wrung it out into a bucket. He was in pieces, but he was just as adorable. I put him back together, taking my time and enjoying every second of it. You can't imagine how I felt when I finally put him into the coffin, whole again. Look at him. I reassembled him perfectly, didn't I? No one would think he'd been crushed by so much rubble. Oh, dear brother. You're as beautiful as ever. Still the Kent I've loved for as long as I can recall. And no different from when I first wanted you.
With a gentle smile on her face, she kissed the glass coffin.
You understand now, don't you? You can't have him, no matter what you do. Don't come anywhere near my brother ever again! And don't you dare investigate him any further! Leave this place! Be gone!
With a terrifying expression on her face, she grabbed us by the shoulders and marched us out of the room.
Pollon Takaoka. You were here after all.
Perfect timing. I was gathering info about the pool hack. People up there are gonna jump off soon, so let's work together and get this done.
We can't. We're not here for the quest. Where's Momo Aizaki?
Not with me.
I can see that. I'm asking you where she is.
Didn't you get her contact info?
She's offline. I can't call her. Hey, where is she?
Hold on, why are you being so cold? What's wrong with you? Hey, don't you two think there's something up with her?
I figured Rico and Iroha would agree, but...
We can't chat right now.
Just answer our questions.
Whoa, whoa, what the hell?
Something wasn't right with them. They even said they weren't after the quest. Had something happened?
Hey, if you see any cops, turn and run.
Huh?
The TMPD are working with the Holy Office. Some of its departments are trying to capture the little lady.
What about the CCO?
Don't trust them either.
I used the keyboard in my pocket to send Momo a message warning her about this.
Put your hands where I can see them. Try anything funny and we'll arrest you.
How about no?
Show me your hands!
I finished typing the message and sent it.
Pollon Takaoka!
Get a hold of yourself! You know what kind of fucked up people the Holy Office 513 are, don't you? As long as it's legal, it's okay? Is that it?
My words shook Bombi, but she maintained her posture. I had a bad feeling about this. I saved just to be safe. As soon as I had, a police car stopped close by. 3 men stepped out. According to their Be My profiles, 2 of them were officers from the Foreign Affairs Department. The third, a young man in priest clothing, didn't have a profile. If Oz's info was on the money, he was probably a Holy Office agent.
The CCO? Your job is to contact Momo Aizaki, isn't it? I wasn't informed you'd be here.
She was offline, so we came to talk to Pollon Takaoka.
If you found Takaoka, you should have reported it immediately. Interrogating him is our responsibility.
The man looked away from Bombi and...
Tell me the whereabouts of Momo Aizaki.
And if I say no?
Suddenly, one of the police car's back doors swung open violently. The Cyber 4 stalls and I looked over to the car. A pale hand gripped the edge of the door. A strange scent wafted past my nose. Something about the smell told me I was about to witness something wrong. The thing in the patrol car revealed itself.
No way.
This couldn't be real. The man before me couldn't possibly be here. Not him. Not the man I'd seen die in front of me.
Davide Yesue?
His cocky smile twitched as I noticed that his face was weirdly contorted. No, it wasn't just his face. There was something wrong with his whole body. It was rotting away. His complexion was extremely foul, and in some places he had no skin or flesh at all. That explained the smell. It was the reek of a decomposition.
Our Davide fell to the pall of death once before, but by God's gracious will, he has undergone miraculous anastasis.
Miraculous? Did a sacrament do this?
Shit, I underestimated their powers. I didn't think they could even bring back the dead.
Now, Davide, let us fulfill our mission and ask him for Lucia's whereabouts.
Well. What a joy it is to see you.
Davide took off one of his gloves and charged right at me. I switched on my berry blocky and threw it forward. The gadget landed 5 meters in front of him. It was effective across a diameter of 4 meters. It would activate in 3, 2, 1. Davide escaped the gadget's effective range before it was activated. The bastard was actually fast. Without even stopping to think, I loaded a save. I came back to right after I got that bad feeling, just as the car pulled up with the officers, the priest, and Davide inside.
The CCO? You're...
She was offline, so we came to talk to Pollon Takaoka.
I looked around for some way to deal with Davide's attack. The problem was that most of the buildings here were sealed off and there wasn't much I could hack. That was when Davide pulled himself out of the car.
There you are, you fucking zombie.
I couldn't imagine having to clock in even after I was dead. The Holy Office sure didn't seem like a great place to work for.
Now, Davide, let us fulfill our mission and ask him for Lucia's whereabouts.
Davide took off one of his gloves and charged right at me. I pressed the switch on my berry blocky and threw it at him. This time I threw it closer than before. Once it activated, I'd have more time to... Davide simply crushed the gadget. His instincts were so good, it pissed me off. Damn it, this wasn't the time to be impressed. If I didn't change anything, things would turn out the same. I leapt sideways, but Davide ran even faster. Before my legs had left the ground, he'd seized my neck with his massive hand. His hand around my neck, he kept sprinting. And then slammed me right into a streetlight. Someone was holding Pollon by the neck against the streetlight.
Where is Lucia?
Not gonna tell you.
I could tell that the man's grip had tightened after that answer.
Tell me, where is she?
Kiss my ass.
Pollon's leg rose off the ground. He was struggling to escape, but the chokehold wasn't getting any looser. He grimaced in pain.
Stop it!
I spoke without even thinking.
We're just asking for his assistance to locate Momo Aizaki, right? Why are you using force? He's not a criminal. He's not even a suspect.
We've been granted permission to find the girl using any means we choose. You are aware of that, are you not?
Even so!
This is a joint operation. Since the highest authorities of the TMPD have consented, I believe it'd be best that you follow orders. You don't want to break the rules, do you?
Pollon was still being held up by his neck. More color drained from his face every second.
Hey! Stop him! That's your job, isn't it?
I begged my fellow officers to intervene, but they ignored me.
Bombi, don't. We can't stop this.
I'm sorry, Takaoka.
I looked at Riko and Iroha. The Holy Office personnel forced guns into our hands, telling us to use them if necessary, but that was never an option for us. All we could do to resist was look away. If I kept looking, it'd be like I was endorsing the brutality through my inaction, and I really didn't want that. It was all I could do to pretend I didn't see. If I wanted to protect the law, the rules, I had to find a compromise within the boundaries of my orders. But was this really justice? Was this why I'd become an officer? To watch someone have their life choked out of them?
Are you okay?
I heard a voice. It was a voice from my memories. A voice I'd heard in the summer of my second year at high school. I'd finally saved up enough money and I was on my way to the department store to buy a uniform for idol auditions. But on the way to the store, a thief stole my purse. I didn't have the courage to chase after him, so I just stood there and cried my eyes out.
Are you okay?
It was the voice of an off-duty officer. She followed the burglar, brought me back my purse, and given me a handkerchief.
Here, wipe your tears. An officer's job is to keep people smiling, you know. I'd be really happy if you could smile for me.
She was just like one of the idols I'd been looking up to. I hadn't even gotten her name, but I never forgot what she did for me and how it made me feel. I was so happy. It was the first time I realized what the police could do for people. That was why I became a police officer when I couldn't be an idol.
Speak. Where is Lucia?
Okay, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Anonymous Code running on Nintendo Switch. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.